Hello, Miss B here. Today we're going to read a story about two dinosaur families. One that are carnivores and only eat meat, and one that are herbivores and only eat vegetables. In this story there's a bit of a mix-up and things don't go quite right. Let's read and see what happens. Tyrannosaurus Drip. In the swamp beside a river, where the land was thick with veg, lived a herd of duck-billed dinosaurs who roamed the water's edge. And they hooted up with rivers, and they hooted up with reeds, and they hooted up with bellyfuls of juicy water weeds. Now, across the rushing river on a hill beside, lived a mean Tyrannosaurus with his grim and grisly bride, and they shouted, "Up with hunting!" and they shouted, "Up with war!" and they shouted, "Up with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur!" But the two Tyrannosaurus, so grisly, mean and grim, couldn't catch the duck-billed dinosaurs because they couldn't swim. And they muttered, "Down with water!" And they muttered, "Down with wet!" And they muttered, "What a shame that bridges aren't invented yet!" Now, a little Cosmogethus, but for short we'll call him Comp, found a duck-bill egg and stole it from a nest beside the swamp. And she swam with it, and she ran with it, and murmured, "Clever me!" and "Won't the baby Comps be thrilled with duck-bill egg for tea?" Book. She dropped the egg in terror and went running for her life from the mean Tyrannosaurus and his grim and grisly wife. And the duck-bill egg went rolling, and as at last it came to a rest in, of all unlikely places, the Tyrannosaurus nest. Now the mother T had great big jaws and great enormous legs, but her brain was rather little, and she could not count her eggs. And she sang, "Hatch out, my terrors, with your scaly little tails, and your spiky little toothies, and your scary little nails." Out hatched the babies, 1 and 2, as perfect as could be, but Mother T was horrified by baby number 3. And she grumbled, "He looks weedy." And she grumbled, "He looks weak." And she grumbled, "What long arms, and look, his mouth, it's like a beak." "He just needs feeding up," said Dad, and gave the babe some meat. The first two gobbled and guzzled, but the third refused to eat. And he said, "I'm really sorry." And he said, "I simply can't." And he said, "This meat looks horrible. I'd rather eat a plant." "A plant?" yelled Mum in horror, and Dad said, "Get a grip." His sisters found a name for him, Tyrannosaurus Drip. And they shouted, "Up with hunting!" and they shouted, "Up with war!" and they shouted, "Up with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur." Poor Tyrannosaurus Drip tried hard to sing along, but the others yelled, "You silly Drip, you've got the words all wrong." For he hooted, "Down with hunting!" and he hooted, "Down with war!" and he hooted, "Down with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur." Drip's sisters soon grew big enough to hunt with Mum and Dad, but they turned on Drip and told him, "You're not fierce enough to come." And he cried, "They've gone without me." And he cried, "Alack-a-day." And he cried, "This doesn't feel like home. I'm going to run away." So he ran off to the river, where he saw a lovely sight, a herd of duck-billed dinosaurs all hooting with delight. And they hooted up with rivers, and they hooted up with reeds, and they hooted up with bellyfuls of juicy water weeds. As he stood there on the bank, a sudden urge took hold of him, and he jumped into the water, splash, and discovered he could swim. And the duckbills came to greet him by the rushy river's edge, and they hooted, "Nice to meet you," and they hooted, "Have some veg." And Drip who was delighted that they hadn't run away, ate bellyfuls of waterweed and played with them all day. Then he gazed into the river and he asked them, who is that creature in the water? And they laughed and said, well, that's you. Do you see him seeing his reflection? You can see your reflection in a mirror or in glass or the water. That night the lightning cracked and a storm blew down a tree and it fell across the river and the tees cried out, Yippee! And they shouted, up with hunting, and they shouted, up with war, and they shouted, up with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur. Oh no. Drip's sisters stepped onto the bridge, but then began to frown, for there in front of them stood Drip, who yelled, look out, look down! And they looked into the water, and they each let out a yelp, and one cried, water monster, and the other one cried, help! The mother scolded, oh, nonsense, and she joined them on the tree. Then she looked into the water and exclaimed, oh, good gracious me. Then the three of them stood trembling, and Dad said, oh, get a grip. You're all the lot of you drippy as Tyrannosaurus Drip. He strode onto the bridge and scoffed, I bet there's nothing there. Then he looked down into the water. And he jumped into the air. Oh, and how the duckbills hooted when they landed with a crash, and the tree bridge broke, and the 4 Tyrannosaurus went splash. And spluttering and clinging to the branch of the tree, they went whooshing down the waterfall and all the way to sea. Oh, and the duckbills hooted happily. They hooted, hip, hip, hooray, for the heroic one and only duckbill Drip. Heroic duckbill Drip. The end. Oh. Can you remember what we call animals or dinosaurs that only eat meat? That's right, it's carnivores. Can you think of any animals that are carnivorous? Yeah, Tyrannosaurus and piranhas, tigers. Well done. What about animals that only eat vegetables? That's right, herbivores. Can you think of any herbivores? Yes, sheep are a herbivore and cows. Anything that doesn't eat meat. That's our story for today. Hope you enjoyed and have a lovely night day. Bye.